So let's move on to topic number 9 tonight, because it's a topic that kind of plays into this. And this is the Ferrari team principal saying, hey, rivals should be paying for these crash costs. And if you take us out and you crash us out and it's your fault, you should be the one paying the bill. And this is a big deal right now, because we all know with F1 and the budget cap right now, that dollar bills is a big issue in F1. And for all the teams, they have to watch out and not spend too much money on engines or replacement wings or any kind of parts. There is a budget gap. So this is big, and this is a big thing for Ferrari to bring up. But I don't know. It's just really one of those things where I think everybody certainly is going to have an opinion on it. But it's really one of those things, like I said, Ferrari thinks that possibly in the future, F1 should look at a rule where if you cause the incident and you cause the crash, that you should be responsible for paying for it.
Yeah. You know, the thing about this is all these different teams here, they've been kind of waiting a long time to have their spot in the sun and get a championship. And Hamilton has won the past 7 years. Okay, so it's been a long time since anyone's even had a sniff at it. Okay, so not only is everyone on the grid loves and respects Hamilton, even Verstappen, I'm sure, you know, looks up to him, but they all want to win. And for the people who don't have a chance to win, the next best thing to winning is somebody other than Lewis Hamilton winning, to show that it is a competitive field. Now, what we have here is Ferrari basically trying to make excuses. And it's not at the end of the season, it's in the middle of the season. So before they've even, you know, kind of gone through and tried to win with the rules that are in place right now, they're trying to find some twisted way to basically, you know, put up an excuse. And do you think that this excuse is do you feel like they're aiming this at Mercedes, or do you feel like they were blaming somebody else for their portion of the crash? Or what do you think, like, as far as Leclerc, would be complaining about here? Where do you think this kind of comes from, and what's their motivation for complaining like this in the middle of the season?
Well, I think this was specifically a shot at McLaren, to be honest. They're the ones that they're battling right now, and the constructors. The McLaren car was the one that they, you know, ended up taking around in the incident where they took around Daniel Ricciardo. And so I think this was a shot at McLaren, because this is their rival right now. And it could be a shot at, you know, even Red Bull and Mercedes, because they are their ultimate rivals historically. But yeah, it should have been a shot at Lance Stroll, to be honest, because Lance Stroll was the one who made the dive bomb for Aston Martin down the inside on lap 1 that took out Charles Leclerc and created the pinball effect into the McLaren. So I think if you know, the Ferrari team principal's got anything to say, he should be sending the bill over to Aston Martin, and maybe that's who he was referencing. You know, I could be completely wrong, where he might have been, you know, trying to throw some shade at Lance Stroll and Aston Martin and Lawrence Stroll, because Lawrence Stroll's a billionaire, and we definitely know billionaire can pay for the fixes in F1, because that's why he bought the Aston Martin F1 team. The guy's a billionaire, so I'm pretty sure he could afford to fix Ferrari's car, because it wasn't their fault there in that incident. Charles Leclerc made a great move down the inside, avoided the first incident and first crash with Valtteri Bottas, but then here comes Lance Stroll down the inside with a classic dive bomb and launches himself into the Ferrari, and immediately, you know, side damage, which was just, you know, it was done right there. It was done. It took some engine damage. They could not even continue on after, I believe, turn 2 or turn 3. Leclerc had to pull the car over. So, you know, I think this could be a shot at multiple teams, including Red Bull, McLaren, and Mercedes. But it also could be a shot directly at Aston Martin and Lance Stroll, because he was the one who caused the accident with Ferrari at the Hungarian Grand Prix. You know, there, like I said, there was 2 accidents there on lap 1. Everybody wants to talk about Bottas's mistake, but see, people not seeming to bring up the mistake that Lance Stroll made with the dive bomb down the inside that caused that second accident. So I don't know. I think this is one of those things where me and you talked about it pre-show, and hey, if you're new, give us a subscribe, give us a like. Producer Ben's out here co-hosting while Pat's on break. But hey, me and you talked about it pre-show, that being like, you can't go ahead and change the rules to your liking and decide that you want to change the rules mid-season. That's definitely something that all the teams would have to look at in between seasons and agree to. And that's the thing. All these rules are agreed to by all the teams ahead of time. So Ferrari, you kind of already agreed to take on your own cost, and that's what you're going to have to do this season. If you want to get rivals to pay, well, guess what? You're going to have to convince your rival to agree to that in the offseason. So this is really one of those things where I don't think you'll ever see this happen in F1. I think this is just a foolish nonsense brought up by the Ferrari team principal. But honestly, I don't think he was serious. I think this was just a direct shot at throwing shade at somebody on the grid, and it probably was at Lance Stroll and Aston Martin.
Well, the competition is getting so fierce between the technology upgrades that people are working on, and the drivers are you have Max and Lewis, two extremely talented drivers, and Leclerc, though, he had a kind of a funny comment calling it was quite a bowling game. So at least he kind of had a little bit of a sense of humor about it, even though, he found a good way to do it without questioning anyone's integrity or saying that it was deliberate or so-and-so is trying to take me out. I think what we're seeing this year is it's starting to devolve, and you're having a lot of these team principals who seem to want to be stewards. Well, guess what? You can't coach the game and call the game. You got to do one or the other. So if you want to become a steward, by all means, step away from your role at Ferrari, at Red Bull, and become a steward if that's what you want to do. But if you want to be a team principal, it's time to shut up and drive, okay? So I think that's what it's time to do here. And you need to keep your young drivers, Max and Leclerc, focused and stop making excuses for them, okay? You have a break here to get your repairs done, get people back focused on the next drive that's coming up here. And the team principals, my advice to you is get your young drivers focused, okay? Stop complaining.